This video is sponsored by Culture Shock Collectibles. With Christmas right around the corner, buying presents and toys and, well, expensive things to put on your shelf.
Would you like me to give you the present I bought you?
Oh, let me guess. Is it something impractical, a bit ridiculous, and slightly too big to fit in the boot of a Mini?
It was so ungrateful.
Then Culture Shock Collectibles has got you covered. Now, if you want to find out how you can get 10% off an order, whether it is your first order or your 50th order, stick around. I've covered a lot of games so far on this channel, and it comes as no surprise that I love the Formula 1 games, which, yes, it's a Formula 1 game. I was doing a hot lap, and then as I'm starting going down the straight, VK comes out of the pits. I'm like, this lap's ruined. Oh. VK, move the fuck over.
Fuck you, cunt.
Jesus! But when I got my hands on Hot Wheels Unleashed, holy crap, that blew me away. Now, I have been a tad bit busy, but I've basically seen everyone rave about how good Forza Horizon 5 is, and review outlets giving it a 10 out of 10. So, with a cockpit, steering wheel and some new racing gloves, I thought it's time to release the clutch and race into the horizon, and holy shit, the car stalled right away.
Concentrating, and turn and flick. Oh, dearie me.
He's done it again. What a massive twat.
In a genre that was once dominated by Need for Speed, Forza Horizon 5 is obviously the latest release in the arcade cross sim racing series that has drivers drop from planes, race supercars into storms, while also completely forgetting about what all racing games sorta need, and we'll get to that in a minute.
I love you, and I miss you.
Horizon 5 is set in the beautiful Mexican landscape where you'll be in the mountains 1 minute and a dense, thick jungle that feels like it's been pulled out of Jurassic Park the next. The Horizon Festival has brought you to the next festival, and you're thrown straight into some jaw-dropping challenges like racing planes or driving straight into a storm. Now, just like when Need for Speed was good, Forza Horizon games are set in an open world where you drive across the sandbox from race to race, challenging other drivers, doing challenges and setting off speed traps or just hooning around.
Oh, shit! Oh, my God!
There's loads of different race styles too. There's the standard circuit races, there's sprints, there's off-road, there's a mixture of everything where you'll be sliding around like a dog on hardwood floors one moment before gripping the tarmac. But just like in, say, Call of Duty, if you've played previous Forza Horizon games, then you've already played this in a way. Each race is basically the same. Sure, there are sprints and standard circuit races, but you need to drive through flagged checkpoint markers in every race, which, personally, and for anyone about to rage in the comments, again, this is my personal opinion, but if you're having a fucking racing festival, and it's a legal one seeing as cops don't chase you around and there's festival hubs everywhere, then you can have a circuit race that's either set up on a proper racetrack or have a proper racetrack with barricades everywhere so you don't need to worry about racing through checkpoint markers. But this might not be a big deal for you. You might love the open world racing, and that's what Forza Horizon 5 provides pretty damn well. The environments here with the Mexican landscape is pretty damn great. Being able to log on and drive a car that you'll never be able to afford while you wait for your wife to put on her makeup is something that nearly every gamer can appreciate.
Sorry we're late, but Luann had to put on her face. She doesn't want anyone to know she's got no eyebrows. What, you don't?
To be able to pick up, drive, and just escape, where titles like, say, Formula 1, you sort of need to concentrate with what you're doing, where here in Forza you can just do whatever the hell you want. Speaking of cars, there are a heap of cars available here, and if you've played previous Forza Horizon games, then you'll have access to some special ones right out of the gate, so you can hit the ground running into those hypercar events. Cars too sound fantastic, and even someone like me who overtly isn't a car fan, hearing a McLaren's engine rev sounds pretty damn great. Now, there is something that Horizon gets horribly wrong, to the point where the game is nearly unplayable, and that's steering wheel support. Forza Horizon 5 has been praised for its accessibility, which, don't get me wrong, we need more games that allow players of any skill level to be able to simply pick up and play, but this couldn't be further from the truth if you're using a steering wheel. After installing Forza Horizon 5 on my PC, I took the Ferrari F1 wheel off my Thrustmaster TSXW and put on the standard Sparco wheel. I put my racing gloves on, I booted up Forza, got inside my cockpit, only to find that the cars were near impossible to drive. As soon as you boot up the game, you're dropped from a plane in a Ford Bronco, and the game sets out to create an awesome open atmosphere, which Forza nails, I won't lie there. But the tiniest adjustments on the steering wheel just to turn had me kicking out and locking up and spinning in an opposite direction. This would happen on any off-road race, and off-road racing is a large component here. And for anyone saying, well, just avoid the off-road racing in Forza, well, that's like saying avoid hearing Mariah Carey in December. Good fucking luck.
After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Even some on-road racing too was pretty damn painful, to the point where I had to use the rewind feature 9 times to drive around a corner.
9 times?
9 times.
You'd honestly tap the steering wheel to turn, you'd lock up and spin. I even put the game on easy mode, and with the AI there was still a proper challenge with the steering wheel. So I decided, fuck it, let's try Forza Horizon with a controller, and I was fucking smashing the AI, and I wasn't losing control of the car. A racing game that's better with a controller than a steering wheel is like saying that a handjob is better with a hobo's foot than your mum's right palm.
Come again.
I also wanted to try and play Forza online with a friend, because every game is better with friends, and yes, Forza is better with friends when it works. My mate was playing on an Xbox Series X while I was playing on PC, and in free roam moments I could see him, but he couldn't see me. We could only see each other when we were doing actual races together.
It is weird seeing a fucking DB5 keep up with this shit.
Interestingly too, he was using a controller and basically every car was kicking out on him. The only car we could both completely control and race were the 1965 Mini Coopers, and the top speed of that Mini is about 150 kilometers going flat down a hill. We had a blast racing Minis, it was awesome, but any other car, including my beloved Aston Martin DB5, we could barely keep that thing on the damn track, constantly tank slapping around a corner.
Because this, well, it lost control. That's what happened there.
Now, before I upset any Forza fans any further, here's how you can get 10% off any order at Culture Shock Collectibles. Simply find what it is you'd like or what you'd like to buy for someone else, like this rad Batman Who Laughs and Robin McFarlane toy set for a bargain price of $120. Or maybe you want something expensive and like rad statues or the high-end Hot Toy collectibles. Then use code DUDI123 at checkout and there you go. This can be used on pre-orders for your first order or for any order. The link is in the description below should you not want to use Google, but anyways, let's get back to it. The AI here too in Forza Horizon is nearly as bad as the AI in Formula 1 2021. Now, while the driver tasks here aren't suicidal like they are in Formula 1 2021, they do race pretty damn dirty, and they feel like they belong more in a Need for Speed title than they do in a Forza Horizon game. But Forza does do some things pretty cool, I will say. When I wasn't getting random graphical bugs, the game did look pretty. Seeing a muddy British racing green Mini racing around was awesome. Being able to drive a virtual version of my dream car also had me doing as many races as I could to afford one. One radio station has Foo Fighters, and any time a race started with the Fooies, I was immediately pumped for the race. Now, I played Forza Horizon 5 on PC because, well, it's crossplay, it's easier to capture on PC, and I have a pretty decent PC. But Forza was crap to play on PC. For starters, anytime you booted up the game, you'd be waiting about 5 minutes or so with a loading screen saying, please wait while we optimize the game for PC. I had cars drop out from the sky. I had land appear and disappear. I had no vehicles on the road, and I was just driving blank freeways constantly. Sure, this game might be great on Xbox, but on PC, it's pretty fucking broken.
It's a Sunday morning in a Spanish-speaking country. It's 8:15 a.m. Chances of a trouser shop being open? Nil.
When you boot up Forza 2, you'll be able to create your own character, which is great because I love making a character. Now, you can pick your character's voice, your pronouns, your hairstyles, your prosthetics, but sadly there's just no facial hair options. This is just a little nitpick, but overly not a negative, but something to note. Being a bald man with a beard, I couldn't necessarily create myself. Thankfully though, I could have the AI sat-nav call me Cupcake, which always got a chuckle out of me or a passing by Mrs. Dudi. Finally, Forza Horizon 5 doesn't really do anything new, at least in my opinion. Forza Horizon games generally change their location and a handful of cars here and there, but what would have been really cool to add into the game is motorbikes. Because we can create our own character now and we can see our character and our character's voice, but naturally we should just be able to race on motorbikes because we can see what our character looks like and we've made them. Now look, again, these are my personal issues that I had with playing Forza Horizon 5. I asked my mates who race in the Formula 1 Championship that we've got going on at the moment what they thought of Forza Horizon 5, and here's their thoughts.
Forza Horizon 5 looks beautiful and sounds beautiful, but is ultimately let down by its dogshit AI design and poor rubber banding.
The most positive thing I can say about Forza Horizon 5 is that it's slightly different than the last two editions of the Horizon games. That's because they put a different number on the end and called it Mexico instead of England or Australia, when in actual fact it's the exact same game. They haven't done a lot to change this around. A lot of the cars are the same, a lot of the tasks are the same, there's an annoying amount of multiplayer stuff thrown in your face here. It's just not that fun. It's a grindy arcade game that you play while you're waiting to play other better games.
If you have played Forza Horizon 3 or Forza Horizon 4, you have played Forza Horizon 5. There are slightly more cars and a different scenery, but it is essentially the same game. That said, it's a fun arcade and it's free on Games Pass, so why the hell not?
I think Forza Horizon can't overly decide what game it wants to be. Does it want to be a serious sim racer like the standard Forza titles, which, now that I think about it, we haven't had one of those in a few years? Or does it want to be an arcade racing game that's accessible to anyone of any skill level? Horizon looks great, it sounds great, but it doesn't know what it wants to be. Forza is again, like Back 4 Blood, a prime example of Xbox Game Pass. If you've got Game Pass, give Forza a look and form your own opinion, as personally, I wasn't a fan of it. This could be me potentially growing with racing games. Now, I loved Forza Horizon 5 and I played all of them up until now, but now that I've been racing around in a Formula 1 game, I think I've moved from arcade sim races to more of a sim-based racing style, unless it's an over-the-top arcade game like Hot Wheels Unleashed. Forza Horizon is available now, and whether you loved it like so many other players or didn't, I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below.